What would you do if you woke up in a place where electricity was a luxury, bicycles were considered expensive, and a bed was just a distant dream?
Oh my god.
How does survival even work in a place like this? Welcome to the poorest country on earth, Burundi. Hi everyone, welcome to our channel, the place where we explore the hidden corners of the world. Today, we're diving into a country so poor that surviving is a daily challenge. In this documentary, we'll take you through the struggles of Burundi, the poorest nation on earth, where electricity is rare and basic necessities are often out of reach. Welcome back to our channel. Today, we're taking you on a journey to a place often overlooked by the world, Burundi, the poorest country on earth. Imagine a life without electricity, where even a simple bicycle is considered a luxury, and owning a bed is a distant dream. In Burundi, this is the daily reality for millions. But despite the hardships, this country is home to a rich culture, resilient people, and a way of life deeply connected to the land. Join us as we uncover the untold stories of this fascinating nation, explore its struggles and triumphs, and shine a light on the incredible spirit of its people. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell to support our mission of bringing you stories from around the world. Let's start this journey with a question. Can you live a day without electricity? Imagine a life where the night never ends. There's no phone light, no street lights, and no light at all after the sun goes down. Just pure, suffocating darkness. This is the harsh reality for millions of people in Burundi, the poorest country in the world. In a country where electricity is scarce, almost non-existent for over 90% of the population, the question becomes, how do you live? We flick on a switch without thinking twice, but in Burundi, life after dark is a struggle for survival. When the day's work is done, there's no electricity to light up a single room. The family gathers around a small fire for warmth and light, using it to prepare food, tell stories, and keep the darkness at bay. But for most people, this small flame is the only source of light. In Burundi, electricity is a luxury few can afford. For those who have solar panels, they might get a few hours of light at night, but it's rare and limited. The majority of people cannot afford solar panels, and the national grid barely reaches most of the country. So after dusk, they face the unbearable stillness of complete darkness. Imagine not being able to read a book, not having access to information, or not being able to entertain your children after a long day. Have you ever experienced a power cut so long that it becomes your reality for days? In Burundi, that's a way of life. The lack of electricity impacts every single aspect of life. Children can't study, businesses can't operate, and health services are severely limited. It's not just about convenience, it's about survival. In rural areas, some families don't even have the option of a torch or lantern. They rely on firewood to light their homes. And when the fire goes out, there's nothing left to guide them. This scarcity of light leads to an equally devastating shortage of information. The internet, radio, and television are luxuries few have access to. The people of Burundi are often cut off from the rest of the world, isolated in their own bubble of hardship. So, what happens after dark in Burundi? The night turns into a time of desperation, where the most basic tasks like cooking dinner or putting children to bed become challenges of resourcefulness. In the absence of electricity, people have to rely on creativity to make do. They use homemade lanterns, hand-cranked radios, and other low-tech solutions just to survive another day. Can you imagine working a full day for less than $1? In Burundi, this is not a theory, it's a daily reality. Now that you understand what life is like in the dark, let's talk about how people manage to survive in a world where a single penny is worth so much. The majority of people in Burundi rely on agriculture for their income. But the reality is far from easy. Farming in Burundi is a battle against climate, drought, and poor soil. Without the right tools or modern techniques, people must make do with what little they have. What happens when farming can't feed your family and there's no way to buy food? How do you adapt when survival is a daily struggle? Despite the hardship, most people still depend on their land to survive. But what if you don't have any land to farm? What if there are too many mouths to feed and not enough resources to go around? In Burundi, over 12 million people share scarce land, and it's not enough to meet the needs of everyone. So people work day and night, hoping to grow enough food to survive. But even then, their efforts are often fruitless. Crops fail because of unpredictable weather, and droughts have become a devastating reality that further threatens their existence. People here don't just worry about farming, they worry about eating. They worry about their children growing up hungry, and yet they still persevere. They turn to hand-to-mouth labor, working as porters, pulling carts full of goods, or doing odd jobs for the few businesses that can afford their labor. But the pay? Almost nothing. You may think $1 a day is impossible to live on, but for the people of Burundi, it's a way of life. The average income in Burundi is around $1 per day. Can you imagine surviving on that? For most of us, that's the cost of a cup of coffee. But in Burundi, it's everything. Food, medicine, transportation, all wrapped up in $1. What can you do with $1? How do you feed your family, keep your children healthy, and make sure they have a future? The people of Burundi don't have much. Basic needs like food and water are the only priorities. But still, there are stories of incredible resilience and creativity. People find ways to adapt and survive, often through small trades or manual labor. But the constant fear of hunger and lack of opportunity is a daily stress that never goes away. Despite facing poverty, political instability, and unrelenting hardship, the people of Burundi still hold on to their faith in the future. Why is that? In Burundi, there's a famous saying, "No one can defeat a person who does not give up." The people of this small nation embody this phrase every day. Despite enduring unimaginable hardships, from political instability to economic crises, the Burundians remain unbroken. But what drives them? What keeps them going in the face of adversity? The unshakable spirit of the Burundian people is built on resilience, passed down through generations. From the moment they wake up, they face challenges with one goal in mind: survival. The hardships they face are endless, but the belief that tomorrow will be better keeps their spirits high. One of the most striking examples of resilience is the cultural significance of the hoe in Burundian society. For a man to marry in Burundi, he must present the bride's family with a hoe, a symbol of his ability to work the land and provide for his family. This isn't just a cultural tradition. It's a message to the world that the value of hard work is at the core of every Burundian's life. But it's not just the men. Burundian women are real warriors too. What challenges do they face in daily life? In Burundian society, women are the backbone of the family and community. They carry the responsibility of managing the household, providing food, and raising children, all while working tirelessly in the fields and performing domestic chores. The weight they bear is often unseen, but their contributions are absolutely vital to the survival of the family unit. Take, for example, the women in rural villages. They must walk miles each day to fetch water, often in extreme heat, or during the rainy season when the paths become muddy and treacherous. For these women, walking long distances is not a choice, but a necessity. Despite their physical exhaustion, they keep going, carrying heavy containers of water on their heads, showing incredible endurance. Imagine walking miles every day for water with no help. What keeps these women moving forward? These women are also the ones who till the land alongside their husbands, enduring the harsh conditions of the soil and climate. In Burundi, it's not uncommon for women to work from sunrise to sunset, with little rest or respite. The combination of tireless labor, care for children, and household duties makes them some of the most resilient people in the world. Yet, despite all these challenges, there's a quiet dignity in their lives. Burundian women know that survival is not just about physical strength, but also about keeping their families together, preserving their culture, and ensuring the next generation will have a chance at a better future. In a world of scarcity, how do you survive and feed your family each day? The people of Burundi have their own survival strategy. In Burundi, the struggle for food is real. Unlike many parts of the world, where access to basic food items is taken for granted, in Burundi, even the most basic staples are hard to come by. While we can walk into a store and buy fruits, meat, and rice, these items are luxuries in Burundi. Rice and meat are out of reach for most families. Instead, wheat, corn, and beans form the backbone of their diet. But even these staples are not always available. What happens when food is scarce and your children are hungry? What lengths would you go to for their survival? During difficult times, families are lucky if they can eat once a day. And when they do, the portions are extremely small. Meals consist of simple dishes like porridge or boiled beans, and often it's just enough to keep their stomachs from growling. Families in Burundi don't have the luxury of leftovers. They eat whatever they can find, and waste is unheard of. The struggle doesn't stop at food. Even the most basic healthcare is a distant dream for most people. There's no universal health insurance, and hospitals are underfunded and ill-equipped to treat the growing number of patients. Medical supplies are scarce, and many rural areas have no healthcare services at all. If someone falls sick, they may have to travel long distances to a health center, often only to find that the medicine they need is out of stock. If your child fell ill and there was no medicine, what would you do? Common illnesses like malaria, diarrhea, and pneumonia are rampant, and they can be fatal if not treated quickly. But for most people in Burundi, getting treatment isn't just a matter of going to the hospital, it's a matter of luck. With limited healthcare access, many families are forced to rely on home remedies or simply wait for the illness to pass. This lack of access to medical care often leads to avoidable deaths, particularly among children and the elderly. Malnutrition and lack of clean water only compound the problem. When you can't afford healthcare, your options are limited, and it becomes a cycle of despair. What about education? Can the next generation break free from this cycle of poverty? Education in Burundi is another challenge. Schools are overcrowded, classrooms are often dimly lit, if not completely dark, and textbooks are scarce. Many children don't even have the chance to attend school regularly because they must help their families with household chores or work in the fields. For those who do attend, the quality of education is far from ideal. Teachers are often underpaid, and there's a severe shortage of learning materials. Yet, despite these obstacles, education is seen as the only way out of poverty for many Burundians. Some children, though faced with enormous challenges, remain determined to learn, clinging to the hope that education will bring a better future. For them, education isn't just about learning to read and write, it's about gaining the skills they need to change the future of their country. For those who manage to finish school, the next hurdle is finding employment. With high rates of unemployment and few job opportunities, most young people are left with little choice but to continue the struggle. However, it's these young, determined minds that hold the key to Burundi's future. Their perseverance is a beacon of hope for a country that deserves better. Life in Burundi may be incredibly difficult, but the people here still hold on to hope for a better future. When everything else seems impossible, They still believe in themselves and their families. In the poorest country in the world, hope is something that can never be extinguished. With help from the international community and relentless effort, Burundi can change and become a stronger nation. We cannot change everything overnight, but even a small action from you can help make a big difference for these resilient people. Please share this video so that more people learn about the challenges the people of Burundi are facing. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss more real-life stories and inspiring tales from around the world. So, what does the future hold for this country that's fighting to survive? Can Burundi overcome its poverty and political struggles to build a better tomorrow? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, its people's spirit will never be broken. Curious to know what life is like in other countries facing extreme poverty? Next time, we'll take you to a place where poverty and beauty collide in ways you won't believe. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. Thank you for watching our channel. If you found this video eye-opening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let us know in the comments. How do you think Burundi can break out of this cycle of poverty? Share your thoughts below.